The events of this day took place starting in April 2023 on the 17th. In that regard, Air Canada Flight 881 arrived at Toronto Pearson International Airport from Zurich, Switzerland. The flight carried with it a certain 400 kilograms of gold, worth approximately $20 million and also approximately $2.5 million cash. Where was this gold made? There is one famous Swiss company that made it, Valcombe. Among the world's largest manufacturers of gold bars, there is Valcombe. They meticulously produced 6,600 bars of gold with specific weights and purities. These bars were packed into special boxes that are safe and then sent via airplanes. Cargo started being offloaded by airport staff members. Supposed to have come for this shipment was Brinks, a popular security firm. It is an American company operating in Canada and other countries and specializes in money transport as well as valuable item movement. Hence, they have armored trucks specifically designed for this purpose. A truck drove into the airport about 45 minutes after the plane had landed. This truck was totally blank, meaning it did not have any of its kind of a company's mark on it. The driver walked down to the loading dock and produced a receipt. It noted that pallet number X should be loaded, and amusingly, there was an official Air Canada stamp on top. The workers at the airport, who had no idea what was happening around them, accepted this note. In fact, it looked completely authentic. They assumed that this truck had come for some food shipment, but this is where one big mistake happened. In the warehouse, the total mix-up took place with pallet numbers, so instead of loading a food pallet, they mistakenly loaded a gold plus cash one onto the truck. After locking up his vehicle, Durante King-Mclean, who we learned later to be called, came out from within its confines as if he didn't suspect anything at all. No one suspected anything because everything seemed perfectly normal. The truck left Toronto International Airport towards downtown Toronto streets. The Brinks truck arrived about 3 hours later at the airport. The Brinks driver went to the warehouse and produced real receipts stating that they had come to pick up golden bars as well as some cash around the same time. That is when it dawned on everyone that something had gone terribly wrong. The workers in the store started looking for the pallet. They turned everything upside down, but there was no trace of gold or money. Nothing was found after a hunt for 3 hours, hence calling for police assistance. As soon as policemen got to the scene, they realized how big this situation was. $20 million worth of gold and another $2.5 million in notes have just gone. After that, the officers started questioning all airport employees. On top of that, they quickly established that the receipt handed by the truck driver was fake, but made so impeccably that it deceived everyone. Turning immediately to the security cameras, the police carefully reviewed the footage and managed to track down the truck. They observed that it left the airport and drove toward the farming areas around Toronto. Nevertheless, after a period of about 45 minutes, no more truck was visible on the cameras due to lack of cameras in those remote places. Now, this posed a big mystery for the police. How could such a major heist be so easily done? It was clear that this work had been done by skilled professionals. They must have had many details about flight schedules, where shipments were kept, and how their security systems worked. The police began looking into all backgrounds of airport staffs, especially those with access to sensitive information. At the same time, investigation teams started searching those areas around Toronto, hoping they might come across any trace of that truck. They got news a couple of days later. The truck was found beside some side road near Toronto, but when it was unlocked, there was nothing inside it anymore. Just 6 gold bracelets worth $89,000 were discovered inside. These bracelets are likely what were made from stolen gold. When bracelets were got in, it became clear that the thieves had managed to melt and quickly reshape the gold. This implied that they had a well-equipped workshop. The days passed, and for weeks, the police were looking for prime suspects but did not get them by then. Nonetheless, there were little contacts the investigators made with some airline employees. For example, one of them just resigned out of nowhere and vanished. In April 2024, nearly a year after the heist took place, several major suspects were finally recognized by the police. A total of 9 people were caught in a coordinated operation. These are their names: Amit Jalota, Ahmad Shohari, Ali Raza, Prasath Paramalingam, Parmpal Sidhu, Archit Grover, Arsalan Shohari, Simran Preet Painsar, and Durante King-Mclean. It is interesting to note that most of them were of Indian origin, implying that there could be a bigger network behind this. However, what was even more intriguing was the story of Durante King-Mclean. He was arrested separately but under different conditions. What happened to King-Mclean? He had gone to the United States and bought 65 illegal firearms. On his way back, U.S. Border Police nabbed him. When they found out about the guns, they promptly contacted Canadian officers, realizing that it was the same truck driver from the gold theft. The police started interrogating these 9 people then, but none of them would confess. All maintained their innocence and claimed no involvement in any heist activities whatsoever. Even King-Mclean asserted that he only drove trucks and didn't know anything about what's inside them. The police tried to find any proof for gold, but it was almost impossible because gold is very malleable and can melt easily as well. They thought perhaps that those who stole it melted it down into other forms, such as rods or rings, maybe sold it to jewelers or smuggled it out of the country. There was one thing which is really strange, that why King-Mclean went to buy guns. Was their intention to loot more? Or could it have been that they sold them and mixed money with other parts of the loot? However, this heist became one of the largest in Canadian history. $20 million in gold and $2.5 million in cash had just evaporated. What is interesting about all this is that it took place within an hour. Now, 4 months after these individuals were arrested, many questions remain unanswered. Were all 9 involved in carrying out the robbery? Where exactly is the gold now? Did others get engaged here? The police are working on this case and are hopeful that they can find answers. No definite news yet, but whatever happens, we will keep you updated through our short videos.